Welcome to the Yoga Method. Today we are diving into the power of setting a meaningful focus, not just for this practice, but for this lifetime. Intentions are like seeds, and when we nurture them with our breath, our awareness, and our actions, they grow into qualities that shape who we are and who we are becoming. I hope you enjoy this practice. So come and join me at the left end of your mat, or you could face me if that's your preference. And with big toes together, hands at heart center, closing down the eyes. And just reconnecting with your intention. Knowing that whatever quality, characteristic, or virtue that we are striving to strengthen within ourselves, we will never do it perfectly. And remembering that our first yama in yoga is kindness. So as we move and breathe and strive to strengthen a new characteristic quality, practicing compassion and kindness for ourselves first. Taking one more breath into your intention. And let's charge your intention and your practice with the sound of Om. One more breath in together. Om. Releasing your hands, opening the windows of your eyes, and just simply circle and sweep your hands high on your in-breath. Taking a moment just to bend the knees a lot and catch the tops of the knees for support. I'd like for you just to circle your knees 3-4 times, one direction, warming ankles, knees, and hips before reversing that direction. The spine is long, the core is gently lifted, and we're breathing mindfully here. Find your stillness, please, and simply lengthen through your legs, your spine, keeping the knees as bent as you need, but endeavoring to focus on how long can we make our spine. The belly lifts to support our lumbar spine, and the sound of our breath draws our awareness deeper into our own bodies. Taking one more full breath in. And on your exhalation, please just ease your way into your forward fold. Your hands can rest on your thighs or your shins or the earth. And please invite as much knee bend as you need before separating your feet hip distance. And I'd like for you just to pedal through your knees. Just feeling how changing one little bit of movement can bring very different sensation to the body, and how different one side of the body can feel to the other. And can you be at peace with what you're feeling in your body today? One more little knee bend through your right and through your left before pausing in your ragdoll, please. Catching the opposing elbow and inviting just a gentle sway if that feels wonderful to your body. Reconnect with your intention. Reconnecting with our common humanity. Knowing that the best of our intentions will always from time to time go astray. But how quickly can we regain our center? How quickly can we come back into alignment with our values and our virtues? Please take one more breath with a little bit of movement before you find your own stillness. Please place your hands on your shins or on your thighs as you lift on the in-breath. On your exhalation, bend your knees, tuck your chin round through your spine, and just ease your way up one vertebra at a time. Once you arrive fully, please bring your big toes to touch with a slight gap between your heels, and let's move into our flow. So on the in-breath, we circle hands overhead. On the exhalation, once again, we bend the knees as much as we need to be kind to our own bodies. On our in-breath, we'll lift our heads, our hearts. And on the exhalation, let's step back with our left leg, please. Grounding through the knee, grounding through the left hand, and bringing right hand to right thigh. Create a spiral from the base of the spine to the crown of your head. And whatever's on the earth, please use it to support yourself. So finding connection to the foundations, and then finding connections to your internal foundation through your pelvic floor, through your abdominals. Taking one more full breath in, please. And on your exhalation, just looking down, frame your foot, and let's move into Ardha Hanumanasana. Again, we're still warming up the body. So just gently flexing and pointing through your right foot. We're maintaining the length of the spine. And we're trying to square our pelvis to the best of our ability. So right hip draws back, left hip draws forward as we flex and point. If you're okay, please stay for one more, and then pausing with your toes in dorsiflexion. And I'd like for you to flatten your left foot and see if you can sink your hip back towards your heel. If that is not feeling available for you today, just staying in that first variation. And then only if it feels good, you're lengthening through your arms, you're lengthening through your spine, releasing your head, releasing your shoulders, just for 2 more breaths. One more full, smooth, deep breath that travels from your right heel to your right hip, from your right hip all the way to the crown of your head. And when you and your body are ready, we'll lift the head, we'll lift the hearts, we'll shift our weight forward, we'll frame the foot, tuck the back toes, and lift the back knee. Slide to high plank, but then land on your knees, please. On your in-breath, touch your left shoulder with your right hand, and on your exhalation, release. When you're ready, second side, left hand to right shoulder, gently release. So what I would love for you to feel within your body as you move through this 3-pointed position is just how strongly our core needs to work to stabilize our spine and our pelvis. So on the in-breath, we touch the opposing shoulder, feel the work in the core, and on the exhalation, we land. On the in-breath, touch the opposing shoulder. On the exhalation, land. Just one more time, touching the opposing shoulder and exhaling to release. From there, walk your hands a little further forward, tuck your toes, and let's move into our first downward facing dog. Bent knees are beautiful, so bend your knees as much as you need to make this feel really wonderful to your lower back. And then please, the first down dog, always take time to invite some movement into the body. So we're just coming into communication with our bodies, and we're listening as the body speaks through sensation. So just noticing what your body has to feel today or has to say today. And then as we find our stillness, I'd like for you to deliberately spread through your fingers and check that your hands are shoulder distance. I'd like for you to check that your feet are hip distance and your toes are spread. Grip with your fingers, grip with your toes, lift through pelvic floor, and energize your abdominals again. Taking 2 more breaths. One more breath in and out. On the in-breath, I'd like for you to lift to the tips of your toes. You'll bend your knees and you'll look towards your hands. You'll step your left foot between your hands before releasing your left knee to the earth. Please ground into the right hand, ground into your left foot, and use your left arm on your thigh to support you, to revolve you. So the pelvis is descending forward, but then we're energizing through our right glutes. We're pressing firmly into the 4 corners of our left foot. And we're lifting dynamically through pelvic floor and through the abdominals. Find support, explore rotation, and then enhance what you're feeling with the awareness of your breath. One more full, smooth, sweet breath in. And on the exhalation, return your eye gaze, frame your foot, and walk your hands back as you lengthen through your left legs. We lift through our left toes. We lift through our hearts. We draw the left hip back, right hip forward. And then we invite just that little bit of gentle neural flossing as we move through dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. Just noticing what is speaking in the back of that leg. One more round. And then I'd love for you to stay in dorsiflexion with your left toes drawing back. And then flatten through your right toes. And just begin to sink your hips back towards your heel, any amount that your body will allow. From there, the heart could stay lifted. Or we could begin to walk the hands forward and just explore a teeny tiny little bit more depth if the body is saying yes, please. Last two breaths. One more, please. Before you gently ease your way back up, grounding into your left foot, framing your hands, framing your foot, lifting your back knee. We slide to our high plank, but we're immediately landing the knees again. And once again on your in-breath, this time right hand to left shoulder, exhaling to pause. Second side, left hand to right shoulder, gently pause. So internally what you're feeling is your pelvic floor muscles are tightening to activate your deepest abdominal muscles. And then at the same time, you're deliberately lifting the abdominals towards your spine to bring more strength, more stability into your core and into your pelvis. Just one more time, inhaling with the right hand to the left, exhaling to release. Inhale, left hand to right, and exhale to release. Please walk your hands a little bit further forward and either taking child's pose or downward facing dog again. If you feel like there's still a little bit of stickiness in the hips or in the back, take a moment to bring movement. And then let's invite stillness into the body. Gazing between the feet. Taking one more breath that travels all the way down your arms, your spine, your legs. On your inhale, lift to the tips of your toes. On the out breath, bend your knees, look at the end of your mat. And stepping or hopping if you're ready, we lift and we lengthen before we exhale into our forward fold. Please energize your feet, rise, reach, press your palms, gaze to your thumbs before releasing your hands down and around to Samastitihi. So building our flow, one breath at a time. Inhale high. On the exhalation, lead with your heart, release your head and shoulders, last gazing to your knees. On the in-breath, how long can we make the arms, the legs, and the spine as we step our left foot way, way back. Grounding into the knee, grounding into the left hand, right hand to the thigh. Turn the chest, open the heart. Option 1, we can stay here. Variation 2, power into your back leg. Feel how that enhances the stretch through your left hip flexor. And then if you don't need the support of the hand, please reach high. And if your balance will allow, gazing to your right thumb. So once again, whatever's on the earth, that's your structural foundation. And then internally set the foundation by engaging pelvic floor and your abdominals, please. Taking one more full deep breath in. And on your exhalation, frame your foot, slide to your high plank, and lower to your knees. On your in-breath, take your left hand to your right shoulder. On your exhalation, ground that hand. And now spin the left shin and please roll to side plank, pausing here. So press down in order to lift upwards, gazing to your top thumb, if your neck will allow. How strong can you be through your core as you slide your shoulders away from your ears? Taking 2 more breaths. One more full deep breath in. And on your exhalation, spot your landing. Please come to your high plank and lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. When you are ready, your left leg is rising. Please keep your pelvis level so that we can really enjoy the stretch through the calf and through the hamstring. At the same time that we are strengthening through our glute max on our left leg. So press powerfully into your hands. Press powerfully into your left heel. And feel the connection to your abdominals. One more deep breath in. And out. On the in-breath, just to the tips of your toes. On your exhalation, stepping between your hands and rising to your warrior 2. Taking a moment to set up, hip and knee alignment, knee over ankle, and setting your drishti, your gaze down your middle fingernail. It doesn't matter how deep we go, we want to focus on the alignment and then focus on the engagement of the muscles. And most importantly, once again, making sure our spine feels supported. 2 breaths remaining. One more full breath in and out. On your in-breath, I'd like for you to lengthen through your left leg and then just reach. Pause here. Feel how much length you can bring to the underside of your rib cage. How much length you can bring into your left leg without locking it. And then notice where the head position is. One more breath in, and then just lightly land your hands on your thigh, on your shin, on your ankle, knowing that it is irrelevant how deep we go. It's all about how it is feeling. The intention to really honor our bodies. So gazing forward, gazing to your right big toe, your left, pardon me, or gazing to your right thumb, if it feels good. 2 breaths remaining. One more breath, please. And on the out breath, I'd like for you to look at your left big toe, bend deeply into your left knee, rising back up, lengthen through your legs, turn your toes towards me. Flip your palms for a moment, take a breath in, and then flip your thumbs. And I'd like for you to hold on to your wrist, your forearms, or your opposing elbows. Find the lift of your chest before you pivot towards the right end of your mat. Shorten your stance, widen your stance, square the shoulders, square the hips. Take a breath in together as we lift the heart. And on the exhalation, bend through your right knee as much as you need to feel really safe in this unsupported pyramid pose. So I'd love for your torso to be horizontal to the earth. And while we are here, we draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Energize your feet more than you think you need to. Energize your legs more than you think you need to. And energize your core, guess what? More than you think you need to. Taking one more full, deep, smooth, beautiful breath in and out. Leave your torso where it is. Just send your arms wide before you release your hands and bend more deeply into your right knee. Simply step your feet together at the left end of your mat, right end of your mat, before exhaling into your forward fold. Circle your arms. Celebrate your efforts. Feel the warmth of your body coming before releasing your hands home Just amastitihi. Inhaling. And on the exhalation, you know where to go. Release your head and shoulders last, bowing into yourselves. On the in-breath, how long can you make your arms, your legs, your spines before stepping your right leg way back? Ground into the right hand, maybe ground into your right knee, with your left hand supporting you on your left thigh. So variation 1, this is perfect. Variation 2, we're charging the back leg and shifting slightly forward. And then only if your lower back doesn't need the support of this hand, you might choose to reach high. But if you do that and you feel a little grab in your back, I want you to support your back again. Only looking skywards if your neck will allow. And then please just focus on the beauty of this moment, the inspiration of your intention, and the quality of your breath. One more full, deep breath in. And on your exhalation, we gaze down, we frame the foot, we slide to high plank before we lower our knees. On your in-breath, right hand touches your left shoulder. And on your exhalation, you'll release it. You'll spin to your right hand. You'll roll to side plank. But we're staying grounded through our knee for this first round. Opening across the heart space. Pressing down to lift upwards. Stay and breathe. Just one more beautiful breath in. Before we spot our landing, reposition our feet, tuck our toes, and move into our downward facing dog. It is your right leg that's rising. We're keeping the pelvis level. So really spread the fingers, grip with them. Press powerfully through your arms. Press powerfully through your right heel. And then feel the stabilizing effect of your core and your pelvic floor. Take 2 more breaths. One more, please. On the in-breath, we lift to the tips of our toes, gaze between our hands, and stepping through. Help yourself if you get stuck. Pivot your back heel. Give yourself some support as we rise into Warrior 2. So again, it doesn't matter how deep we bend into this knee. What I want you to check is that your hip and your knees in one line. You can see that your knee is tracking towards your second and your third toe, and your big toe is visible on the inside of your right knee. From here, we lengthen. We press energetically into the outer edge of our left foot, and we feel how the core is supporting every movement we do. Steady your eyes on your right middle fingernail. What was your word? What was your intention? Silently affirm it. And on your exhalation, we'll lengthen without locking. We'll extend, and I want you to pause here to really feel how the hips are moving one direction, the head is moving the other way. We're lengthening through our right leg, but there's a little bit of softness, so the muscles are supporting us. And then when you're ready, lightly landing the hand on the thigh, the shin, the ankle, it makes no difference. We're just exploring movement and breath together. Please bring just a little bit more energy into your feet, your legs, your core, as you stay for one more full breath in. On your out breath, you'll gaze down, you'll bend deeply into your right knee. You'll rise up, you'll turn your toes towards me. You'll flip your palms for a moment as you take a breath in. You'll roll your thumbs down as you breathe out, and we're catching our wrist, our forearms, our elbows once again. Lift through the collarbone, and when you're ready, turn towards the left end of your mat. Shorten your stance, widen your stance, square the hips, square the shoulders. Take a breath in. And on the exhalation, moving into an unsupported pyramid pose. So please, once again, bend through your left knee any amount that you need. And then really deliberately energize your feet, your legs, your core. And if you need support, of course, just release your arms and place your hands on your thigh or your shin. Last 2 breaths. One more breath, please. And on your next inhalation, we'll just spread our wings wide before releasing the hands, bending deeply into your left knee, working your feet together at the left end of your mat before releasing your head and releasing your shoulders. Please reach high on your inhalation, circle your arms before releasing your hands back to your hearts, Samastitihi. This is your last time through your flow. So circle and sweep. Reaffirming your intention, silently repeat it to yourself. On your in-breath, hands to shins, fingertips to floor, flat back extension. Before stepping your left foot way, way back, please. Remember, option 1, knee is on the earth. Variation 2, powering into that leg. And variation 3, sending your right hand high. Gazing to the floor or gazing to that top hand. Taking 3 more breaths. One more breath in before exhaling your hand down and around. Please slide to your high plank and landing your knees for option 1. Variation 2, I'd like for you to stay on your toes, please. Everyone takes right hand to the left shoulder as we breathe in and exhaling down. Take your left hand to your right shoulder and exhale down before we all roll to side plank, remembering that option to stay on your knee or to extend both legs. And variation 3, you're absolutely welcome to stack your feet. That last little challenge might be looking to your top thumb. My last challenge is ignoring the mosquito that's biting me. One more full deep breath in. And on the exhalation, please pause in high plank before sending your hips to downward facing dog. It is your left leg that's rising. Pelvis is level. Gazing at your right big toe. How strong can you feel within your body? How long can you make this position? Taking one more full deep round of breath in and out. To the tips of the toes will rise. On the exhalation, coming between the hands, grounding your back foot, making your way into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. How low do you want to go? No one's business but yours. Looking at your middle fingernail. And just as we practiced in Trikonasana, second round, let's practice this lengthened position through the underside of our left body. So pausing here for a moment, feel how strongly you need to work through your feet and through your core. Taking one more breath in before landing your elbow, and let's take that right hand high again. So pressing down with the forearm, checking that the knee is right above the ankle. And then let's take Chin Mudra with our bottom hand. So lightly touching the index finger and the thumb as we spiral the heart high and sink our hips low. One more full deep breath in before returning your eye gaze to your left big toe. Rise back to your Warrior 2 before lengthening through your legs. Repeat that same feeling. It should almost feel like someone's pulling you by the hair one direction and by the hips the other direction. So this long position first, before we just lightly land the hands where they feel best today. Eye gaze determined by you and your balance. Underside of the body is long. Legs are powerful, and the breath is so deep. One more breath in. And on the out breath, gaze down, bend deeply into your left knee. Press out of your left foot, turn both toes towards me. Inhale, palms to ceiling. Exhale, flip the thumbs, catching your wrist, your forearms, maybe the opposing elbow. We take a moment to really open through the heart, broaden the collarbones, before we turn and pivot towards the right end of the mat. Shorten your stance a little bit. Widen your stance a little bit, and then really deliberately square your hips, your shoulders as you breathe in. On the exhalation, easing our way into that unsupported pyramid pose. So we're gazing at our right big toe. We're drawing our right hip back, left hip forward, and we're bending into our right knee as much as we need. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath, please. We're going to weave our left arm out and to our right thigh. Hand resting on the thigh, the shin, maybe even your foot. So we're coming into either a supported pyramid pose, keeping the shoulders square, or we can begin to play with a revolved version of this, which is revolved Trikonasana. So gazing once again to the earth to begin with, and then just decide where you want your left hand to be. Keep revolving through the torso, stacking the shoulders, and we're drawing the right hip back, left hip forward. Strong feet, strong legs, strong core, deep, beautiful breath in and out. Let's take 2 more breaths. One more full, deep, expansive breath in. And on the exhalation, gazing down, bend deeply into your right knee. Square your shoulders, but move your left hand to the top corner of your mat. Leave your right hand where it is. And just begin to lift any amount into a modified warrior 3. So variation 1, we can look like this with our toes on the earth. Variation 2, just a tiny lift. And variation 3, exploring a little bit more lift, a little bit more length. Stay and breathe just for 2 more breaths. One more full breath in and out. On your inhale, send your right arm out. On the exhalation, release your feet, release your hand, release your head, release your shoulders. Rise and reach all the way up to extended mountain before bringing hands home to Samastitihi. Last round. What was your intention? So to strengthen any quality, any value, any virtue, we need to practice it within the real world. Inhale, lifting heads, lifting hearts. It is your right foot that's stepping way back. So our yoga challenges us just physically on our mats, kind of like a little mini challenge. And from here, we get to really watch, observe our reactions. Sending that hand high if you like. Grounding down to lift up. Noticing the quality of the breath, the quality of the mind. And really celebrating who you are in this moment and who you are still becoming. Last 2 breaths. On the exhalation, grounding the hand. Ready, we're sliding to high plank. And we're either grounding the knees once again or perhaps staying in our high plank. Please take your left hand to your right shoulder on your in-breath. On your exhalation, land. On the inhale, you're taking your right hand to your left shoulder. On the exhalation, land. And then rolling to side plank on the right with your right knee on the earth, with your feet staggered, or with your feet stacked. Last challenge, eye gaze, turning towards that top thumb. One more full deep breath in before we spot our landing and roll back to high plank before lifting our hips up and back to our downward facing dog. It is your right leg that's rising. So pelvis level, pressing through hands, lengthening through arms, through legs. But we're finding the quality of strength that we need to maintain this posture for 2 more breaths. Ready, collectively, we lift to the tips of our left toes. Stepping between our hands, pivoting our back foot, right hand to thigh as we ease our way up to Warrior 2. Make the shape, engage the stabilizers, and then please explore lengthening through the torso. So with the hands not there to support us, we need the core to really work extra intensely. But it's just a very gentle lift of the pelvic floor, a gentle drawing in of the abdominals. Take one more breath into the underside of your body, and then lightly land the elbow, taking your left hand high again. Chin mudra with your index finger and thumb on your right hand. And then only looking to your top hand if it feels right for you. Can you make your left leg any straighter, any stronger? Rolling your bottom ribs around. Just one more breath, please. Before gazing to your right big toe, rising back to your Warrior 2, before we lengthen through our right leg without locking it. Lengthen. Feel how strong and powerful the feet, the legs, the core needs to be. And then easing your way gently, finding light support, but maintaining the engagement of the lower body and the abdominals. So we set an intention, not for what it will give us, but for who we have to become to embody it more. On your next exhale, gazing at your right big toe, bending deeply, come up, turn your toes towards me. A breath in with the palms to ceiling. A breath out to flip the thumbs, capturing wrist, forearms, elbows. Take a moment to lift the heart, draw the heads of the shoulders back, and then pivoting towards the left end of your mat. One last time to shorten your stance, widen your stance. Square the hips, square the shoulders, take a breath in, and then easing your way forward any amount that feels good to your body. If you need support, release your hands immediately. So lift through the abdominals, engage the pelvic floor. Just one more breath, please. Before we begin to slide the right hand out, you'll place it on your thigh. You might place it on your shin or your ankle. It doesn't matter. We're going to leave the left hand as it is. So option to stay parallel to the earth. Nothing more changes other than taking support from your right hand. Variation 2, you'll begin to turn any amount that feels good to your body. And then choosing the correct hand position for you is based on what you're feeling. So if you're still able to breathe fully and deeply, you've chose perfectly. If the breath feels really jagged and constricted, just ease out of that shape a little bit. So grip with your feet, energize your legs, left hip back, right hip forward, gazing to the earth, to the side, to the ceiling, as we stay and breathe for these last 3 breaths. One more full deep breath in. And on your exhalation, looking down, bend deeply into your left knee. Take your right hand to the top corner of your mat and begin to shift into just a modified warrior 3. So variation 1, your toes are on the earth. Option 2, just a tiny little lift. Variation 3, you're exploring your edge. Shoulders are square, belly is strong. Last 2 breaths. One more, please. And on your next inhalation, send your left arm out to the side. And on the out breath, release your hand, your feet, your heads, your hearts, all of your efforts. Pausing here in your forward fold. And when you are ready, please take a breath in to lift your heads, your hearts. Stepping back and landing your knees. And I'm just going to invite you to spin yourselves around before landing in child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together, just completing your standing sequence. Celebrating yourself, celebrating your efforts. And then ripple your way back onto hands and knees. For our core strength, we're going to continue to use that 4-point kneeling position. So let's take a moment here just to press into the hands, really open through the back body into your angry cat sensation. Take a breath in, take a breath out. And on this next inhalation, just lifting into your happy cat before exhaling to roll into your angry cat shape. So variation 1, you'll just stay with this traditional happy cat, angry cat, cat, cow. Variation 2 is you round through your spine. You're going to pick up your knees and just hover briefly. Just 2 more. So inhaling as you land the knees. And on the exhalation, raise the roof with your spine, tuck your chin, and perhaps lifting and hovering the knees just momentarily. One more time. Flooding breath in. And as you flood the breath out, engaging your core, lifting the knees, pressing the earth away before landing here. Cross your ankles, maybe sit back over top of them. And if that doesn't feel possible for you, you'll just simply swing the legs around. So I'd like for you to take your legs long and come into your Paschimottanasana as you take a breath skywards and easing your way into your forward fold. Your knees can be bent, of course, and our spine remains long and lifted as we gaze at our big toes, setting our drishti, steadying our eyes, and reconnecting with our intention. Could you visualize that word? And could you envision it right in the center of your hearts? And with each breath that you take, you see it grow bigger and brighter, infusing each and every cell of your body. It's always been there. You are just now deliberately attuning to it. One more full breath, please. And on your inhalation, lifting through your heads, your hearts, exhaling to sit back. And I'll invite you to cross your right foot over your left thigh. So we're going to take just a very gentle twist here. Please energize through your left foot. Sit tall as you ground into your left hand. And just taking a moment to gaze over your left shoulder. So using breath, using our abdominals, and using our arms as levers to gently create the rotation we're seeking. So as we gaze over our back shoulder, in yoga, it's this reflection towards the past, just taking a moment to extract the wisdom, the lessons, and then we return to the present moment. And I'd like for you just to see if you could lift this arm for a moment. And then from there, flip the thumb, curve of the lower back, revolving once more with an unsupported twist. But the support now is coming from the abdominals more deeply, more intentionally. Just taking 2 more breaths, please. One more full deep breath in and out. On your inhalation, return your eye gaze. On your exhalation, release your twist. Let's come into boat pose, please, with our hands supporting us as we lift through our chest for variation 1. Variation 2, the hands will reach forward. And variation 3, we're floating the feet so that the shins are parallel. For a moment, take your left hand to your right shoulder. On the in-breath, exhale to return it. On your inhalation, take your right hand to your left shoulder. On your exhalation, return it. Could we do doubles? Inhale both hands to touch the opposing shoulder before reaching the hands away, releasing your feet, releasing your legs, just giving everything a little momentary shake before you bend into your left knee and cross it over your right leg. Please energize through your right foot before taking that gentle twist towards the open side. Grounding deliberately into your left big toe and pressing deliberately with your knee and your arms. On the in-breath, we're always seeking length. And on the exhalation, that gentle, gentle little bit of rotation. Breathe in, get taller. Breathe out. Embody your rotation. Gazing to your past, just for one more breath. Nothing is strengthened in our lives without challenges, without stumbling, without falling. So as you look to the past, extracting the wisdom, leaving the pain behind. On your inhalation, return your eye gaze just to present. And we tested to see if we could lift through the back hand. And if that does not feel good to you, please place the hand down. We then flipped the thumb and we brought it into the curve of the lower back to come into one last twist in an unsupported fashion. So the support is still coming from your left arm, your core, and your legs. But how deeply can you breathe just for these last 2 breaths? One more full breath, please, before bringing your eye gaze back to future focus on the in-breath. Exhaling to release the twist on the out-breath. Taking our last Navasana. So lifting through your heart space. Variation 1, variation 2, variation 3. And then from there, inhaling to bring right hand to your left shoulder. Exhale to release it away. Inhale to bring left hand to right shoulder. Gently release it away. 2 more. Right hand, left shoulder. Left hand, right shoulder. Double up. Both hands, both shoulders. Before reaching them away, one more time for good luck. Both hands, both shoulders. Before reaching the hands, releasing the feet. And please wrap your hands underneath, tuck your chin, and come into a gentle spinal flexion. Breathing new space between your shoulder blades. And once again, visualizing that intention, that quality, that characteristic. Planting the seed of that virtue within your heart. And with each breath, see it grow, see it spread. One more breath, please. And when you're ready, you'll lift through your heart space. You'll turn towards the long edge of your mat. And I'd love for you to bend your knees as much as you need in the shape. So hands can support you, knees can be bent, but we're just focusing on the length of our spine. As we slide the hands down towards our shins, our ankles, and we're keeping the spine long, we're keeping the chin slightly lifted. And I'd love for you to close down your eyes. There's so many wonderful qualities, virtues, characteristics. It's hard to choose just one. So maybe you're gritty and grounded. Maybe you're humble and hardworking. Maybe you're playful and patient. Maybe you are uplifting and grounded. Just taking one more breath, please. And when the time is right, the inhalation will lift our heads, we'll open our eyes, we'll ease our way up. Please place your left hand on your left shin or thigh. Spin your heart open and moving gently towards your left ankle. We could keep the hand resting here. We could place it to the ground, forearm skywards. Pinky fingers, peace fingers hooking into the Achilles tendon. And I'd like for you just to bring that hand behind your head. Rolling the elbow high, easing the shoulder low, but not forcing the body. We grow where we're planted, right? So wherever you are within your life, whatever the season of life you're in, we need to learn how to grow where we're planted. Not to wait for the perfect situation, but to know this is the perfect moment to strengthen those qualities that we wish to embody more. One more breath before you ease your way up and out. I'd like for you to take just a very gentle twist in the shape. So catching your left hand to your right thigh, grounding your right hand behind you. Energize your feet, energize your legs as you take a gentle twist, once again looking over your right shoulder. A momentary look to the past. And then maintain that twist through the torso, but simply bring your eyes back. One more breath. Before gently releasing your twist, come into Baddha Konasana just briefly. Taking a hold of your ankles or your feet, sit tall and just bounce the legs momentarily. So a dynamic stretch. In yoga, we use active and passive stretches. Dynamic, just another word for active. Active can mean a few things, but we'll just leave it at that today. There's 2 more breaths I'd like for you to take here. With your butterfly wings moving. 1 more breath, please. And then finding your stillness as you lift your chin, lift your chest, open through your hearts. And release your chin back to neutral before we release the legs out again. So we're placing right hand onto the right thigh. And we're placing, for a moment, just our left hand at our hip. Sliding your shoulder towards your foot, deciding whether bent knees feels better, or straight legs, or taking forearm to the floor, hooking the peace fingers to the Achilles tendon, before sending your left hand high and catching the back of your head. Rolling open, deepening breath as you feel the left side of your torso, creating new length, a little bit more freedom. On the in-breath, we deliberately roll open. On the exhalation, we're just seeking softness. 1 more breath as you are. And when you are ready, we'll reach high on the in-breath as we ease our way up and out into that gentle twist. Catching right hand to left thigh, grounding left hand behind you, rotating from the base of the spine all the way to the crown of the head. Just take 1 more breath as you look towards the past. And then maintain your rotation as you bring your eye gaze back to the present, to the future. The point of power is here as we cultivate this new quality and characteristic. But there is no strengthening of these qualities without obstacles, without challenges. It's only a philosophy until the challenge arises. Taking 1 more breath before you gently release your twist. Bringing the soles of your feet back together 1 last time into your Baddha Konasana. Take a breath in to lift your heart, lift your heads, but this time let's ease our way forward. So initially hinge from your hips, long spine, lifted hearts, gently landing the elbows on the inner seam. And then please tuck your chin and just roll in any amount that feels glorious to your body. So the feet are active, and we can use the muscles in the back of the pelvis to actively work the knees a little bit closer to the earth. The abdominals are drawing us into flexion, and then we're using our breath to open the back of the body. Breath, mindful movement, combined with our intention. Planting the seeds, 1 breath at a time. Taking 1 more full, deep, smooth, deep breath in and out. And on the inhalation, just ripple your way back up And we'll come onto our backs. So we'll come into just a simple bridge for our back bend before coming into our inversion, happy baby pose, and a twist. So one of my favorite quotes is, don't go looking for the exotic until you've mastered the fundamentals. So let's just start with a very basic bridge shape. The hips, the knees, and the ankles are aligned. Our peace fingers will search for our heels just to establish that they're equal and even. We lift our heads to make sure our knees are contained. And then once we energize through Mula Bandha pelvic floor and our core, then we lift into a back bend. Please deliberately walk your shoulder blades under you. Deliberately interlace your fingers as you press your pinky finger down. And at the same time, you reach your knuckles towards your feet. So feel the four corners of your feet, the big toe, the pinky toe, the outside of your heel, the inside of your heel, and really focus on lifting from there. Now take your awareness to your hamstrings. Feel them engaging and extending the pelvis a millimeter further. And then take your awareness into the back of your pelvis. Really connect with glute max, so the main glute muscle, the biggest one. And its job is to extend the pelvis. Now connect all the dots. Your feet, your hamstrings, your glutes. And the core continues to support our spine. Could you stay for 2 more breaths? Broadening the collarbones, opening through the heart space where you planted that seed. One more full deep breath in. And on your exhalation, begin by releasing your hands and then wiggle your shoulders out a little bit before rolling down first through your upper back, your middle back. Keep your tailbone tucked till the last moment. You'll feel your lower back land. And then finally your sacrum. And just let your pelvis uncurl. Take a moment to feel the release. And as soon as you feel ready, you'll hug your knees to your hearts. Just deloading. So bridge pose is a back bend. The spine moves into extension. And we're counterbalancing that by bringing the knees to chest to move into a little bit of flexion before coming into our happy baby pose inversion. Our ankles are stacking over our knees. Our knees are stacking over our armpits. And sometimes the feet are not accessible, so we can always hold hamstrings or calves. And then yogi's choice. Is stillness what your body is asking for? Or would it feel divine to rock gently? And I want you to celebrate your efforts in this moment. We are all doing the best we can. Never perfectly. So we gift ourselves with the grace of recognizing our common humanity, that we are all struggling with something. And at the same time, we are trying our best. One day at a time. Sometimes one breath at a time. Just know that you are not alone and that you can always come back to your yoga mat And to this community, I promise, you will be seen, you will feel uplifted, you will feel supported as we move and we breathe and we strive to get better one day at a time. Come into your stillness. If you have tears in your ears, like me, please feel free to release them. And then, beautiful crew, you'll just hug yourselves gently, lovingly. And we'll seal our practice with a moment in stillness, a moment in Shavasana. So if your back is feeling sore at all, it might feel better to have your knees bent with your feet super wide. But if your body will allow, just let your legs go long. And take a smooth breath in through your nose and just sigh it out your mouth. You might need a couple more. And then allow your breath to find its own rhythm. And please really bless your own body. Celebrate your own body. Take a full deep breath in. And release and relax completely. Can you tap into the eternal essence of you and allow that feeling to flood through your entire being? Take a breath in, giving thanks for this body, this day, this life, and planting those seeds of gratitude deep within your heart. Feel the inspiration of your intention, your value, your virtue that you chose. And know there are no boundaries, no barriers we cannot overcome together. Take one more breath in, flooding your being with gratitude for the gift of this day, this body, and this practice of yoga that we share. Please feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you can, for as long as you wish. But if you wish to come with me, we will start breathing more fully and deeply again. Just invite a little movement, maybe a little wiggle through your hips, a little movement through your shoulders, fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. And when you're ready, you'll bend your knees one at a time. You might want to gather your knees to your hearts to release any tension from your lower back. Rocking your bodies very gently from side to side before rolling over onto normally the right side when we do a more dynamic practice, but whatever side's best for you. We'll pause for a moment inside lying. Just taking one more full deep breath in before patiently navigating our way to a seated position. Any position that feels good to your body. And then from there, we just deliberately lengthen through the spine, growing a little bit taller into the space above us, bringing our hands to our heart center. Please reconnect with your intention. And let us take the gifts of our yoga practice off our mats and out into the world. We close our practice with the sound of Om, sending our blessings, our love, our prayers, our support out into the world with that sound. Take a breath in together. Om. From my heart to yours. Namaste. Hope to see you soon.